Taylor Swift didn't just become famous, she became the artist she was always afraid she'd be replaced by. That fear has been sitting in her songs for more than a decade. It is not one confession repeated 4 times, it keeps changing shape. First, fame looks like a beautiful trap. Then youth becomes an expiration date. Then replacement becomes a tradition. Finally, legacy becomes something she can direct. Start with The Lucky One, released on Red in 2012 and revisited on Red Taylor's version in 2021. Its central figure reaches the dream, the name and lights, the cars, the view, the headlines. But the song keeps asking whether success still feels like luck from inside the machine. Taylor's official lyric video gives that machine a face. A glamorous woman poses under hard lights while the word fame glows over an imagined city. The composition is deliberately old Hollywood. She is visible everywhere, but intimacy is gone. Image has become a job, and attention has become surveillance. The song's sharpest turn is not the star's arrival. It is her exit. The industry remembers a woman who disappeared, chose dignity, and left the public story behind. The narrator initially treats that disappearance like legend. Years later, after her own name rises, she understands the choice differently. That matters because The Lucky One does not imagine a triumphant way to remain famous. Its clean ending is escape. The lucky woman is the one who recognizes the bargain and walks away. In 2012, Taylor could describe the machinery with startling clarity, but the future available to her still looked binary: stay and be consumed or leave. Nothing New moves the fear closer, released from the Red Vault in 2021 with Phoebe Bridgers. It is less interested in one vanished celebrity than in the clock inside a young woman's career. The official video reduces the image to an hourglass. Nothing distracts from time moving grain by grain. The song asks how someone can seem to know everything at 18 and nothing at 22. That exact age contrast is not merely about getting older. It describes an industry that praises young women for precocity, then treats growth as decline. The gift is welcomed only while it can still be called new. There is another person waiting in that fear, the younger artist who arrives already carrying a map drawn by the woman before her. Admiration and dread exist together. Influence proves that the work mattered, but it can also feel like evidence that the culture has found its next version. The lucky one feared the cost of staying. Nothing New feared being pushed out. Together they reveal the trap. If she disappears, the machine wins by exhausting her. If she remains, the machine can recast experience as staleness. The problem is not age itself. The problem is an economy built around replacement. By Clara Bow in 2024, Taylor is no longer imagining replacement as a private nightmare. She turns it into a lineage. The song moves through names associated with different eras of fame, showing how the industry flatters a newcomer by comparing her to the last woman who seemed singular. The compliment sounds generous, but its structure is ruthless. You're special because you resemble someone the culture has already finished turning into an icon. Then the same sentence prepares the next person to resemble you. Individuality becomes a relay baton passed through a system that claims every new face is unprecedented. The official lyric video makes that idea almost severe. A faceless sculptural figure holds still while words accumulate beside it. The body becomes silhouette, pedestal, and projection surface. Taylor's name eventually enters the chain. She is not standing outside the cycle to critique it. She recognizes that she has become one of its reference points. That recognition changes the emotional scale. In the earlier songs, replacement threatened her future in Clara Bow. Being replaced also confirms her legacy. A younger artist compared to Taylor Swift is not proof that Taylor vanished. It is proof that her image has become part of the language the industry uses to manufacture each arrival. But legacy can still become another form of possession. A name may survive while the person behind it gets flattened into a look, an era, or a cautionary tale. The question is no longer only, will they still want me? It is also, what version of me will remain when I am no longer the newest person in the room? Then comes Elizabeth Taylor, released on the life of a showgirl in 2025, followed by an official music video in April 2026. The title reaches back to a woman whose work, beauty, relationships, scrutiny, and endurance were all absorbed into one immense public mythology. The video makes a striking choice. Taylor Swift does not compete with that mythology on screen. Instead, the official film is built from moving archival images of Elizabeth Taylor. We see performance, glamour, private-looking pauses, photographers, crowds, and solitude. The modern star uses her platform to return motion and complexity to an older icon. That does not erase the parallel, it sharpens it. Both women became global stories before the public allowed them ordinary adulthood. Both were discussed through romance as aggressively as through craft, yet the video refuses to treat Elizabeth as a mirror that exists only to reflect Taylor. Elizabeth remains the subject of her own images. This is where the arc changes. The lucky one imagined dignity through disappearance. Nothing new feared novelty running out. Clara Bow accepted that fame creates successors. Elizabeth Taylor suggests another move. Use authorship, ownership, and direction to decide how the lineage is framed and whose humanity remains visible inside it. Taylor did become the artist those earlier narrators feared. She became established enough to be compared, copied, inherited, and eventually replaced as the culture's newest discovery. But replacement is not the same as erasure. A career can stop depending on novelty and start operating through craft, catalog, memory, and choice. That is the different ending. Not eternal youth, not permanent control over public opinion. Not winning every cycle of attention. The victory is becoming difficult to reduce. Songwriter, performer, director, business actor, and source for the artist coming next while still retaining the power to point the camera somewhere beyond herself. The old fear was that another bright young artist would arrive and make Taylor Swift unnecessary. The later work answers with a more durable idea. Influence is not evidence that the original disappeared. Legacy begins when the work can survive comparison, succession, and change without asking permission to remain. Subscribe for more deep dives into Taylor Swift's evolution as an artist.